Thanks to the support as a channel member, Jack Watson. Boys and girls, I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope Santa brought you everything you wanted and you managed to see some of your family some of the time, maybe. Fingers crossed. I hope you're ready for a transfer special as well today. We have got a big one coming up for you. We got promoted to the Championship a couple of days ago. We've got £10 million plus to spend to build a team that can stay in the Championship. Exciting times ahead. And also exciting, because it's the last time I'm going to have to tell you this for a little while, the whole being able to join the channel for free thing, if you've got YouTube Premium, that ends in a couple of days. It was only until the end of December. So if you haven't been able to do it yet, or if maybe you did it back in November and it's time to renew, you've got a couple of days left. If you subscribe to YouTube Premium and you're in the UK or selected other countries, you'll be able to support the channel for free by hitting the join button, joining the channel free of charge. You get your name on the bit at the front as well, where I thank channel members. If you want to check if you qualify for it, just hit join, see if it offers you the opportunity to do it for free. If it doesn't, you probably don't have YouTube Premium, or maybe you're not in one of the countries where it's valid. But like I say, it's only until the end of December. So if you want to do it, now is the time. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 7 of Non-Lethal Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special. On the topic of the season review, we seem to have lost it. Is it there? Oh, there you go. There you go. We can view our season review. So we'll do the season review first up under the pretty new style. Let me know what you think about this new style season review thing. I'm not still completely sold on it, and it all still comes through to the inbox anyway. So if you prefer it using the old system, the way we used to do it, let me know, and we can go back to doing it that way. So this is the summary of transfers this season. Obviously, only some of these were mine. Some of these were still incredible signings. Anderson and Sykes in particular were the centre-back partnership that our promotion was built on. Solomon Otterbor was an incredible signing. Gooch. All of our better players came in this summer just gone, it seems. So Tim Flowers wasn't completely clueless. He did, however, sign Jody Jones, which was a total waste of time. But signing of the season, Luke McCormick. Surely signing of the season. Is that what the star means? It is what the star means. We bring him in on a free transfer. He averages over a 7. He scores such important goals as part of the promotion run-in, which apparently get recorded as cup games rather than league games. I still maintain that's wrong, because a few years ago Huddersfield tried to make out that they were unbeaten for 50 games in the league despite losing the playoff final to us at Old Trafford midway through. But apparently Football Manager agrees playoff games are cup games. Utterly absurd. But he did get 2 goals as part of the semi-final and the final. Very important. He's already a hero in Peterborough United history, and signing of the season as well. Not bad for a free transfer we brought in because we were panicking and couldn't find anybody else. We were expected to finish top half. We finished 6th. We got promoted. By any metric, that was an incredible season. We're in the Championship. Huzzah. We're on an A+. This is pathetic. The fact our joint top scorers have got 11 goals each, and I'm inclined to bid them both off this summer and go and sign some strikers who actually know how to score goals. Slavy Spasov, keep your phone on over the course of this summer. We'll see if we can maybe, I don't know, is the Championship a step too far for him? There's a chance it might be, but we'll certainly have a look at him over the course of the summer. Financially, we know the club is in very good shape. There's £14 million in the bank, largely following the sale of Ricky J. Jones to Everton last summer, which we weren't able to reinvest, but we can now, which is crucial. You can see that Clark Harris is our top shirt seller. He isn't going to be here next year. Don't you worry. On far too much money. His salary is due to go up to nearly £7,500 a week. I know we've had our wage budget doubled, but we've not had it doubled to the extent where that is good value for 11 goals over the course of the season. And this was our team of the year. Ben Amos coming in on loan in January, getting into the team of the year, as you would expect, because there wasn't a proper goalkeeper here before. Our back four of Blake, Tracy, Anderson, Sykes and Turton seems about right, to be fair. The entire team seems about right. Reed and Taylor in midfield. Obviously, Schmodix was playing there in this system for us until he got his hip injury that kept him out for the rest of the season, at which point we went to the 4-3-3. Mccormick starting regularly, and the rest, as they say, is history. But it was only for about the last 7 or 8 games that we were playing that system because we lost Schmodix. Otherwise, Schmodix definitely would have been in. I never would have made the decision to drop Sammy Schmodix, but now I've seen how well we can play without him. It does make me question whether we keep him around, because he's the other very highly paid player at the club. Otterbohr and Gooch out wide and Clark Harris up front make up the rest of the team of the year. Accolades wise, have I won? What is this? Have I won manager of the year? Is that what this is? Doesn't say, or does that mean I've not won anything? I think that's actually what it means. Player of the season goes to Sammy Schmodix. Young player of the year, Jack Taylor. Signing of the season, Mccormick. Goal of the season, also Mccormick. Top scorer was Clark Harris with a pathetic 11 goals. Most assists, Reed with 9 assists. Most man of the matches goes to Jack Taylor. Highest average rating, also to Jack Taylor. I still need him to make a step up and become the Jack Taylor I know he can be this coming season. He's championship quality, but he really needs to prove it because he wasn't showing championship quality for large parts of last year, despite ending up being one of our best players. He's still got time to really fit nicely into a more attacking system, which is definitely what we're going to be looking to put together over the course of this summer. But the important thing is we are now a championship side, and we've had players inducted into our all-time best 11. So quite a few of these aren't really going to be relevant because they were here before we were. Christy Pym, whoever this Eastman guy is, Beavers, one of our first things we did was sell Mark Beavers, Dembele on the left. So there's a few players who were here before we arrived. It's largely our team. It will change dramatically now we're in the championship. The board are impressed that we've grown the reputation of the club and got promoted to the championship 1 year ahead of schedule. Because remember, we were supposed to go up automatically next season. Now that long-term goal has been changed and we've been asked to fight bravely against relegation. So we're now in a situation where we could get relegated and not get sacked, which is what we talked about in the playoff push. It might be better for us long-term to go up, sort the team out, rebuild the squad, probably come back down, but then go back up again with a much stronger squad that can just win League One. And ultimately, by the end of the 5 years, become an established top half championship team, which I can definitely get on board with. Whether I'll be here in 5 years or not, I don't know. I'm not going to spend the next 5 years managing Posh in the championship. We need to be making some progress, but I'll certainly be involved in the start of it. Right, we are going to be in a relegation battle. Are we strengthening the squad, as you might expect? I don't believe we can avoid a relegation battle. How do I say we're going to be in a relegation battle, but hopefully we'll be okay? That's what I really want to say to him. I'm optimistic we can avoid a fight against relegation. No, see, that's not true. I'm happy to go into next. I'm more than happy to go into next season with you all and believe we can avoid getting involved. No, I don't believe that. We're good enough to not get relegated next season. That will be our likely target. There you go. And that's disappointed. Do you really think we're capable of surviving? No, I don't, quite frankly. But I couldn't find an option that allowed me to say it. Oh, my goodness. Right. We're going to discuss promises when they get back, apparently. Go on your pre-season holidays, your closed season holidays, end of season holidays. This is the end of season team report thing, which, I mean, to me, that looks like a pile of trash because it's reckoning Clark Harris is one of our best players that we should be building around, along with Taylor and Anderson. I would say that's probably not the case. And Gooch. Gooch is an interesting one out there as well, but we definitely need a proper goalkeeper. Ben Amos almost certainly not coming back. I think we could probably do with strengthening the depth we've got at fullback. We need more depth in central midfield as well. Once you get past Taylor, McCormick and Reed, there is nothing. And then figure out what we're going to do with this attack to find a way to make it start scoring. That's got to be the long-term plan. The most important thing on here, though, is the thing that makes it such an exciting summer ahead. And that's that we've got £11.5 million of transfer budget and an extra £56,000 of wage budget to spend. What we've got to be careful of doing, which I've been guilty of in the past when going up to the championship, is spending all of that immediately on renewing contracts. We've already had Lyndon Gooch come to me and say he wants between £12,000 and £15,000 a week as part of a new contract. And I'm looking at him thinking he's got 2 years left on £2.5 grand. He's already considered a fringe player. Yes, he's had a good run in, largely from penalties. I don't know that he's a championship quality player. He's certainly not going to be getting 15 grand a week out of me. So I'd sooner let him go and completely rebuild than give decent League One players good championship money. So there's definitely going to be a rebuild further forward. And we've got the money to do it. We've got the money to really shake things up. I think the first thing we need to do is just clear house, get rid of everybody we don't need. Is there a wage cap in the championship? I don't think there is. So theoretically, hold on, the easy way to check is, can we adjust the budget? Yeah, okay. So we could go the free transfer route and spend over £220,000 a week on wages and still have £6 million to spend. Or we could, I mean, that's not really an option. That gets us stuck the same way we've been stuck. But certainly, I don't know that I need to spend more than £5 million. That amount of wage budget gives me some serious room to play. So I guess we'll see what we can find over the course of the summer. See, this is the problem we're going to have. Oliver Turton's in now. He wants an improved contract to reflect his importance to the team. Well, at this point, I'm not really sure, Oliver, what your importance to the team is. Yes, you were involved in the promotion push, but you're 30 years old. You're considered a good League One player. You've never played higher than League One in your career. You're currently on £1,100 a week. What are you asking me for? Absurd. I mean, if I can't convince him to back down on these kind of things, I'd rather sell him and replace him than pay him that much money. It's ridiculous. He's not worth it. And I think we're going to get that with quite a few of them. There's going to be a few surprising sales of players who just aren't worth the ridiculous money they now think they are. And Oliver Turton at 30 years old, don't expect him to be here next year. Right, transfer window is open. The clear out has begun. And we've also brought some Premier League youngsters in, Kettering style. So Jody Jones leaves the club for £218,000 to go to Portsmouth. No idea why this guy was signed last summer. Tim Flowers, what are you doing? You don't know what you're talking about. In fact, how did Blackburn get on in the Championship? Let's see if Tim Flowers has a clue. I thought he's actually got them promoted to the Premier League. Well, that shows what I know, because we were originally not keen on Blackburn at Christmas because they were down in like 16th place. And it was like, what's the point in going to a Championship club that could get relegated? And when we were with Kettering and could get promoted. So we've seen Blackburn, Peterborough and Kettering all promoted this season. Tim Flowers clearly does know what he's doing, and he's looking at the posh job thinking, yeah, that's my promotion too. The way I'm looking at the Kettering job in exactly that way. That's baffling, because the squad he's assembled here at Peterborough is a nightmare. Has he got any kind of squad here? What system does he play? I don't understand. He's got goalkeepers and everything. Baffling. Utterly baffling. But Blackburn back in the Premier League thanks to Tim Flowers. Serhat Tasdemir's gone to Plymouth as well. These are the youngsters that we brought in. So basically anyone who I've trialed everyone who comes in on that email that you get saying all these players have been released by Premier League clubs. I brought them all in on trial. Anyone who had 5-star potential just offered a contract to. At this point, I didn't know what league we were going to be in, so I wanted to do some budget signings to pad the squad out and give us some decent youth. So we've got a 5'9", 13.5 stone centre back. He's a stocky lad, isn't he? 13.5 stone at 5'9". 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability though. He's in from Chelsea. He's going to need to get taller if he's going to be any good as a centre back. Mark Mccubery is an 18-year-old Welsh central midfielder with 4.5-star potential who comes in from Manchester United. Joe Willis is an 18-year-old left back. So we've got a 6-foot-tall left back and a 5'9" centre back. Swap them over. He's got 5-star potential. He's in from Southampton. Henry Moma is an 18-year-old Irish under-19 international centre-back. See, a 6'3" centre-back, that's more like it, and he's got 5-star potential as well. He's in from Manchester United. Rob Walker is an 18-year-old English right-back with 5-star potential. 6'1" right-back in from Liverpool. Just this one little fella ruining it for everyone. And then lastly, Jack Oliver is another centre-back. There was a lot of good defenders and not much else. 18 years old, 5-star potential, 6'2", in from Manchester City. So that's a bunch of youth players in, which is always handy. I don't know how many of them, if any of them, will get near our first team next season, but it's good to have some young options. That's basically a backup defence ready. And as long as we keep Anderson and Sykes, we've already got Deshaun Bernard. I reckon we could almost say our defence is done now. We don't need to be spending any money on defenders. We can focus our entire budget on a goalkeeper, midfielders and attackers. We have sold Johnson Clark-Harris. He came to me and asked for even more money. As you can see, Coventry going to be paying him nearly £12,000 a week. Did Coventry stay up? They did. But, I mean, he doesn't score goals. How is he possibly worth that kind of money? And watch him be top scorer next season for Coventry, but I wasn't going to pay him that. So I've sold him and we brought a little bit of cash in for him. We definitely need a striker now because we don't have one. My director of football's made an offer for a goalkeeper. That's interesting. How much is he offering for him? Nothing. How does that work? Why would they take nothing? I mean, he is better than what... I'm interested. He's better than what we've got. I don't usually like permanent transfers done by the director of football. I usually just leave them to do loan signings. But he's 6'6". You know I like him big. It would be nice to scout him a little bit more so we could have a proper look at him. We've only got him 42% scouted, but on first look, he's better than Amos, which admittedly isn't hard. But he did play a full season for Shrewsbury last year. And of course, Shrewsbury, right up until the end there, were very, very close to promotion. So he played well in a good side, 17 clean sheets. Interesting. Let's see how that one develops. I am kind of interested. I don't want to talk about Johnson Clark-Harris. This is what the finances look like after that first batch of transfers. So we've still got nearly £13 million to spend and lots of spare wage budget. But the squad is looking light in attacking areas. If we filter this to 3-star minimum quality and probably switch it back to a 4-2-3-1 now, because Sammy Schmodix is going to be part of the plans, I am sure. So based on the 3 stars, we've got no goalkeeper. We have got 2 left backs. Key and Blake Tracy are fine at left back. Turton, he's calmed down for now, but I'm not giving him a new contract. We don't really have anyone beyond him, so maybe we need another right back. But Anderson, Sykes, Bernard and the youngsters that we've just brought in will be fine in the middle. So at the back, we probably only need a right back and a goalkeeper. In midfield, I'm happy with Taylor, Reid and Mccormick, but we need at least one more body in there, and preferably of Jack Taylor quality, just to come in and be real championship quality in midfield. Sammy Schmodix is not going to play up front, so we have no strikers that are any good. Jack Taylor and Luke McCormick are obviously back here, so realistically, we just have the one attacking midfielder, no striker. And then we've got Gooch, Solomon, and then Gooch, Schmodix, Solomon. So we've only really got the 2 wingers. So we need at least 2 strikers, another attacking midfielder, at least 1 winger on each side, and another centre mid, plus a goalkeeper and a right back. What's that, 7 or 8 players? We can spend a couple of million each on them. I am inclined, unless we see an absolute bargain to come up, to wait for the 1st of July and see what we can get on free transfers first, and then do our business then. But we are actively scouting, and we've just upped our scouting to... Does it say on this screen? Which screen does it tell you what you're actually scouting? There, we've upped our recruitment package to UK and Ireland. It was previously just League One only. So we're spending some big money on a proper scouting package. Obviously, we do have Brexit to contend with. So we're not really in a position to go and bring in loads of foreign players. But we need to be bringing in the cream of the crop from across the UK, really, to get him through that work permit situation. Like this guy, Luke O'Connell. Straight away, I'm looking at him thinking, well, he's out of contract at Celtic. 22 years old, fits our profile. Better than Jack Taylor. We could probably offer him a pre-contract now. We can. It's just a shame he's not properly scouted. We are still scouting him. I don't want anyone else to get in ahead of us, though. But they're certainly the kind of players we're looking at. We just need to focus in on the scouting. So when it gets to the 1st of July, we're in pole position to grab players like him. So we've made it through to the 1st of July. A few more transfers in and out. Reece Cole, who came in as part of the Mark Beavers leaving deal. We never planned to use him. We've actually sold him on at a profit, which is lovely stuff. We've also got rid of our backup goalkeeper, who that was already arranged before I arrived at the club. And we've signed Luke O'Connell, who we were looking at previously, mainly for his potential, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. He is an extra body for us to have in midfield. Whether or not he's the midfielder I was necessarily looking for this summer, I'm not yet decided on that. We'll see what other options we can find as we start to have a little look around now. Free transfers are available. Couple of important things to note in the Championship. We are now allowed a 25 rather than a 20 player squad. There's a maximum of 17 foreign players, of which we currently have none. The 17 foreign players do need to have work permits. So it's not just a case of it's a 17 player free for all, but there is no wage cap on the squad now. So we can be a little bit more flexible with what we're offering in wages, which is, goodness me, very, very welcome. So 1st of July, this is the squad depth. We'll check in on this again after we've brought in a few free transfers. We've got the 3-star thing on there. Interestingly, Hector Ingram's star rating seems to have jumped up a little bit. He's done a Mick Powell. I don't know that he's a Championship quality striker, but maybe second choice, third choice striker. perhaps he's not going to do too much harm. And we've offered some new contracts to quite a few players as well. So we are, I said, be wary of doing this, Kev. We're already topping out at 92 grand a week because of some of these new contracts that we've offered. Some of these players are on huge amounts of money when you compare it to what I sold Clark Harris over. Jack Taylor, 10,000. Anderson, 9,000. To be fair, they're two players who from the start, I've said I was building the spine of the team around, but I have given Turton a new contract as well because I was convinced. I was convinced by him. 6 grand a week, it's a lot. Gooch hasn't yet had a new deal, but I'll probably offer him one next time he asks one. Flynn Clark getting a big new deal as well as a young homegrown player with lots of potential. And there's a couple more who will be getting new deals as the summer goes on. But we are operating on a very small squad at the moment. Expect that to change a little bit as I start to bring in some free transfers now. Well, after nearly 2 weeks of game time of constant players coming in and out, there has been a lot of business done. Firstly, the outs. We've now sold Joe Ward for nearly £250,000 to Oxford. Gaz Key, our young 5'1" left back, has gone out on loan for the season to Rotherham. Hopefully he'll get a full season of game time with them, and I don't know, they'll put some fertiliser on him to help him grow 8 inches to make him actually useful. And a couple of the youngsters have gone out on loan, including Luke O'Connell, who, although coming in and looking like he was definitely going to be someone who was in the first team mix, immediately started complaining when I signed other midfielders. So we might have got a wrong in here. We've loaned him out. We'll see how he is when he comes back. They're paying his full wages. We've not really lost anything if he never plays a game for us. But we have brought in a number of players since him. Henry Lawrence was the first one who upset him. I like a utility player. We've got a young James Milner here. He can play anywhere. Primarily a defensive midfielder / central midfielder, but really can play anywhere. Although at 5'8", I'd question his ability in some of the defensive positions. But he's a 5-star potential player. He's previously of Chelsea, was on loan at Sunderland. He's just, he can do a bit of everything. Maybe he's a fullback. That seems to think he's a fullback. Maybe he's a midfielder. Maybe he's a defensive midfielder. Who knows what he ends up being? But certainly excellent utility player to have around the place. Can't really complain about him. Another former Chelsea youngster in the shape of Casey Palmer, someone I used to sign in Football Manager all the time a few years ago when he was a little younger. But he can come in and offer a little bit more creative spark from the midfield. Although, again, my assistant manager seems to think inverted winger out on the left is a more suitable role for him. We'll see. I've signed him to play in central midfield, really. He's been around the Championship for a few years now. There's been some big transfer fees paid for him as well, so some decent Championship experience. He's still only 26 years old. Sticking with the experience, 28-year-old Wes Burns is a winger who can also play up front, but realistically with 9 finishing and 5'8", we're probably not going to play him there. He's a 3.5-star ability player who, again, decent amount of Championship experience. He's got a few years there, a few years down here, lots of League One experience as well. And he's another option for us out wide. Rodel Richards is another one of these young midfielders who can basically play anywhere, and we'll figure out later what his position actually is. He's 22 years old, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's a former Manchester City youngster, then Brighton. And again, been working his way through some of the lower leagues in recent years. 13 goals for Rochdale last year in League Two suggests he's got goals in him as well, which is always welcome. Stefan Carlson's a 19-year-old youngster. Don't expect to see him play this year. We'll probably even loan him out, but he's a 5-star potential midfielder who was at Swindon, and they weren't offering him a new contract, so we just swooped in and took him off, and we'll probably loan him out. Silly old Swindon. Nathan Baxter's our new goalkeeper, getting the number 1 shirt, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, 24 years old. Another one formerly of Chelsea, who are basically becoming our feeder club, which I guess is okay. Marcus Ifil, left winger, another one who's just in for potential now. Don't expect to see him play just yet, but he's got bags of potential for the future. Keon Ite is a 21-year-old English striker who I think he's got more potential than perhaps a 3-star current ability would indicate. He's a target man, but I think he's a pressing forward. Looking at the pace that he's got, his finishing's not great, so it might be better playing alongside another striker. But the only time he's ever got games, he scored goals. So I think he's definitely worth a little bit of a gamble. And then Joel Latibadier, no, not even close, who is a centre back right back, really. He'll play right back, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Watch me play him centre back now. But we scouted him as a right back. We've brought him in as a right back, and now he's here, and we've discovered that he's actually a natural centre back. He's only an accomplished right back, but he's a right back. Everyone knows he's a right back. And that leaves us with still bags of money to spend and probably a couple more positions still to strengthen. We still need a real proper goal scorer. We've not really replaced Johnson Clark-Harris yet, but the midfield is certainly looking much better than it was, much more strength in depth, much more creativity in there as well. We've got some decent options. I mean, Lawrence is ridiculous. He's the best left back at the club. We signed him to play central midfield. He can play everywhere. Key has gone up to 3.5 stars. Have I made a mistake loaning him out? No, he's 5'1". I'd be too tempted to play him. The defence is looking good. And we probably need a backup goalkeeper. And then I'm willing to spend £4-5 million on a striker if I had to. I thought I had Andy Rinamotta. Maybe we'll bring him in. I thought I had my striker. There's a youngster, Ivan Toney. There's a youngster at Chelsea who we were willing to pay £30,000 a week wages to bring him in on loan. Chelsea agreed with it. I'm assuming he turned the move down, and I've just missed it in my inbox because he's not showing up anymore. I forget what his name was. He must be in the under-23s, I guess. This guy, Armando Broja. We had a deal agreed to pay all of his wages, take him on loan, but I guess he's turned us down. We'll try again, but I'm assuming that's what's happened. Can we pay all his wages? There you go. We did it that way. Chelsea agreed, but I guess the man himself is not interested in joining us, which is fair enough. But if we can get him, I think he'd be the missing piece of the puzzle. I think he'd come in and score an absolute hatful of goals for us. He would require Peterborough to get promoted from the Sky Bet Championship before he would consider joining. Well, he played for Villa last year and only scored 4 goals. Mr. Fancy Pants too good for the Championship. Maybe get better at football first. Maybe I don't want him after all. So, a striker is what we need. Let's see what we can find in the way of strikers. We've got money to go and spend on one. The problem is, there's just... Can we get this off? Right. Clear. Striker. That's all we want. We want to know who the best strikers we've scouted are. Brandon Hanlon is a winger, according to that. But there you go. He is a striker. He's just not scouted enough. We can't go and spend big money on a player that's only 43% scouted. We need to get some of these boys more scouting and quick. Or else we're going to go into this season actually probably downgrading our striker situation from Clark-Harris, which was not the plan. Tam Smith scored against us in the playoff, so I remember him scoring against us. I don't know if he's a man to make a step up to the Championship, but he did get 17 goals in the year in the division below last year. In real life, that's a fairly typical Peterborough signing, but he's not as good as Tete, only slightly better than Hector Ingram. Probably not really worth the £500,000 you'd have to spend on him, but I don't know. What does my director of football think we could do in the striker category? Tam Smith. Well, maybe he is the man. He's young and probably won't get... Although he's 18 years old at Derry City, so no one's spotted him yet. He's already got 6 caps for Northern Ireland. This might be a little hidden gem here. Look at some of these attributes. If he's towards the top end of those at 18 years old, he could be an absolute superstar. It's a gamble to throw almost £1 million at him. But I feel like if we hang around too long, someone else is going to scout him. So let's offer him $500,000 and see what they say. They say, no, Kev. We want more than that. Just a flat no, not even negotiating. Okay, we'll put in an offer of that and see what happens. Do we really want Smith? Is Smith the answer? Can't believe that he is. Maybe he is. More transfer business. We weren't able to get the striker from Chelsea. He went to Watford for £24.5 million. Just a smidgen outside of my price range, I would suggest. We've had a few more players leave on loan, most notably Ryan Broom, who's gone on loan to Livingston for the rest of the season, for the rest of his contract, in fact. We won't see any more of Ryan Broom. They're covering his entire wages. And we started to spend some money. We've done our free transfers. Now we're starting to spend some of this money that we've got. We're not going crazy with it. We've only spent 1.4 million. But I think we've brought in 5 very good players. Rhys Devine is a 21-year-old left-back from Manchester United. 3.5-star current ability. 5-star potential ability. He's better than any other left-back we had at the club. Got some League 2 experience from Wimbledon last year. He's going to probably be our starting left-back this season. Simon Patton is the youngster that we just took a gamble on. And fingers crossed, I mean, according to my staff, the gamble might have paid off. They think long-term he's potentially an inside forward on the left, which maybe with only 10 finishing isn't a bad shout, but he's lightning quick. He's only 18. He's already got international experience. He's got 5-star potential and is considered a future Premier League player. So I think regardless, at $750,000, even if we don't get the best out of him immediately, I think long-term, that's a good investment. That's a typical posh young striker purchase. Louis Malden's another goalkeeper, 21 years old from Manchester City, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, better than Nathan Baxter, who now drops down to be our backup goalkeeper immediately. He was out on loan at Southend last year, ready for first team football. He was on the transfer list at Man City for almost nothing, £63,000. We just snatched that up. We also got another striker, Rodel Richards, 22-year-old striker from Tottenham, can play anywhere across the attacking midfield 3 as well. More of a finisher, unlike all the other strikers we've been bringing in. Spot a theme, though, with the strikers. They're all quick. We're definitely going to be playing typical Kev style attacking football, high-pace attacking football this year. None of this counter-attacking nonsense. We'll probably end up playing counter-attacking when we get battered. His only previous experience was a few years back now playing in League 2 for Carlisle. He's ready for first team football. And Gustav Morganson is the last one who's come in, a 22-year-old Danish striker who, again, can also play out wide. We'll decide as time goes on which of these players who are coming in are strikers, which are wingers, which aren't good enough. None of them are massively high risk. But it gives us some decent depth and some decent options up there, which we never had before. So theoretically, we've got 4 decent strikers, although we know Schmodix is definitely a midfielder. Those 3 are going to fight it out for that starting spot. And then we've got lots of creative attacking players and lots of depth everywhere else. I'm happy with the squad. I think it's probably there. We've still got 15 million in the banks, over 6 million a transfer budget and space in our wage budget. But I'm inclined to save it for January. Let's see how we get on. See if we're likely to be coming straight back down or if we're going to survive. And if we're going to survive, then we can go and throw some big money at a couple of players who might make a difference and push us into a bigger, better championship side. But at the moment, this squad is infinitely better than the one we had last year. So if we do get relegated, I've made sure to remove all the relegation release clauses. So if we do get relegated, we'll come straight back up as champions. I think we've got a really good chance of a mid-table finish. I don't think we need to go and spend a load more money. So I think we're done unless a real bargain emerges in the last week of the window. Well, we squeezed one more player in. Lee Everett's a right back. He's 18 years old. He's got potential. That's it. I mean, he was just another freebie. There's a couple more players who've gone out on loan, most notably Flynn Clark, who was in and around the first team last year, got a big contract renewal, but then has had so many players signed over the top of him. He's only 20. Go and get a season playing for Falkirk and come back a superstar. That's the plan. So we've only spent 1.4 million, brought 400,000 in. That's not even necessarily true because we sold like £2 million of a player early on. So we've actually had a net transfer profit for this summer, even though it doesn't show because so many of them went through last season. But there's loads of money left to spend. Our bank balance is as healthy now as it was before. That's a bit worrying. That's what happens when you increase the wage budget. I mean, the wage budget is more than 4 times bigger now than it was last year. But, you know, we're a championship team now. There's going to be TV money and stuff coming in, presumably. The one other change we've made, Luke Mccormick is our new captain. He's done a bit of a Mick Powell over the summer and probably expect a lot of game time from Luke Mccormick this year. What a signing he's turning out to be already. Jack Taylor considered our best player, which is very exciting. Hopefully he continues to develop and becomes the player that I know and love from both real life and from my Twitch save. And yeah, I think this is a squad that definitely can stay up. It's just, can we maybe push beyond that and flirt with the playoffs? Probably not. I mean, if you look at the budgets, almost certainly not. But Who knows? We'll find out more tomorrow when we play our first couple of games. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.